the question that always came up, why do I have to study algebra? And the parents always say, because it'll be good for you in the future. Well, that presupposes the parent knows the future, first of all, and second of all, it's not very persuasive. So it occurs to me there's a way maybe you could get kids to see a reason for learning algebra. And I've always been thought about the idea, why can't we put together a team of depending on the age, of course, a team of kids with a teacher, and maybe outside citizens who participate, and take them to solve a little local community problem. Traffic jams, or some piece of pollution or something, which just happens to require algebra to solve the problem. And then when you say, why do I need to learn that? You don't have that issue. You say, we've got to solve this problem. It's action learning rather than some abstract. Obsolete is my favorite word in the whole book. It's a word we cooked up to mean obsolete knowledge. Most of the decisions we make in our daily life are based on obsolete knowledge. The most, including the White House and our own kitchen. Okay, and one reason for that is getting more and more true, because as change accelerates, the rate at which knowledge becomes obsolete accelerates, and as a result, much of what we believe will be in another decade or so. We'll all, if we were able to look back on it, we'll say, how do we ever believe that nonsense? It's stupid. And don't be ashamed of being stupid, because Aristotle was stupid, Da Vinci was stupid. If you read the things they actually believed in their time, you can't believe it. You can't believe that they believed it. It was wildly absurd. The assumption we make is that education takes place in school. In 1976-77, the first PCs appeared in the world. And at that time, if you wanted to buy a PC, nobody had ever heard of a PC before. So you need help. If you're going to use this machine, you need better help than you can get from Radio Shack. What you need is a guru. You need a computer guru. Who is a computer guru? Answer, anybody who bought a machine 1 week before you did. And what happened then was, in a certain way, amazing. Because what happened was, gurus would, one guy would be the guru here, but then this guy would get ahead of him and he would then help him. And you had an enormous transfer of learning among people. And by the end of the century, or now, it must be, 150 million, 200 million Americans who know how to use PCs. They're not necessarily techies, and they're not necessarily full-time geeks, but they know how to use the PC, and I believe that has a powerful impact on the economy, and valuable impact on the economy. The amazing thing is, how did they learn? Almost nobody went to school. This was not education in a classroom. And I tell this story only to say that when we think about education of the future, we shouldn't automatically assume that all education takes place in a classroom. It may be that there are completely different ways of moving information, communicating information through the society, let alone online. There was a PC embedded in a stone wall in a village in India, without instructions. And the first thing that happened is kids came out and looked at it and began to play with it. And in a matter of days, they had figured out how to do things on it. And they had access to the internet, and they had done all kinds of, for all practical purposes, unimaginable things just by being kids and playing with it. They learned something. So basically the point I'm making is that if we're really going to rethink education, we should rethink it from its ground assumptions up. Why not ask those questions as though we were starting from scratch? Because, in my opinion, we are essentially starting from scratch in a new way of life.